So, hello, welcome to Equipped. Equipment-wise, all we need today is really just single weight. You can have a couple if you have the option. We will be going up overhead today. I'll also be doing a little bit of rowing as well. So if you need different weights for those, go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, just single one will do just fine. We're working in a time domain today rather than reps, so we can always make those adjustments, moving a little bit faster, moving a little bit more slowly depending on the weight that you have. So let's go ahead and get warmed up. We're going to start with a nice hip hinge for some good mornings, even though it is the evening. So we're going to take those hands behind your head. We're going to flare those elbows nice and wide, squeeze that upper back. We're going to tuck those hips up and under and draw those hips back, making a nice, good, strong hinge. We're going to pause the bottom for just a second. We're going to squeeze those glutes, drive to that standing position. So we'll go about 4 or 5 of these, working on that slow, eccentric, quick pause, and driving through. So hip hinge, super important in everything that we do. Make sure that it's a very fundamental part of our warm-up. You can really just add it to any workout that you do, because you're never going to get too much practice with that hinge. I'm going to go one more here. Hamstring is a little bit tight today. So we're going to go slowly down, extend those out, squeeze that glute, and drops through. Alright, second movement, we're going to drop down on the ground for what we call a Dns Star Pattern. A little bit kind of a complicated movement. We're going to lie down on our side, kind of prop ourselves up on our elbow. I want you to think about your hips, your knees, your ankles, all at 90 degrees. So go ahead and get comfortable here. Our top hand is going to reach across our body, so think about like really stretching out those shoulder blades. So what I'm going to do is push into the ground on this bottom knee and through this elbow here. I'm going to push down through the ground, which is going to cause me to bridge up. I'm going to pull those hips through, drive those hips all the way through. I'm going to pull that top arm back. All right, and we're just going to reverse, send those hips back, sitting right back into that 90-90 at that hip. All right, we're going to push down to the ground, drive those hips through, pull that top arm back. Think about almost like a kind of a glute bridge, but we're on our side as opposed to lying on our back. So we'll go about 2 more on this side. As we're pulling that top arm, those hips are driving forward. We'll reload. We'll go 1 more. Again, think about hip hinge on here. A lot of glute, a lot of hamstring. And we'll go ahead and relax. I'll switch it over to the other side. And we're going to get in that same start position. Focus on those hips at 90 degrees, those knees at 90 degrees. Top hand is going to reach across. And drive into the ground, push those hips forward, and pull that upper arm back. So sitting as far back into that kind of the bottom of the squat here on the ground. And driving those hips through, squeeze those glutes. You can keep those feet together if you'd like to, or hover it either way. You can get a little bit more activation up in the air, but that's fine. Driving those hips through, squeeze those glutes. And reset. We'll go 1 last one. Big activation exercise there. And we'll relax. So we're going to take a 90-degree turn, facing down to the ground on all 4s. We're going to do a little bit of core activation with some primal toe taps. So we're going to put those hands right underneath our shoulder, knees underneath our hips. We're going to tuck those toes, lift those knees up off the ground. So we're actively engaging with the ground here, really pushing those arms into the ground. We're going to take that left hand to right foot, meet underneath, and return. Opposite side, meet, and return. We're going to go back and forth here for about 10 reps. I want you to find a quick little balance as that hand meets the foot. Pulling those abs in nice and tight through that whole turn. And it should be activating that abdomen, pulling those abs in nice and tight. We'll go 1 more each way. Not fast here. Focus on slow and controlled. And relax. All right. Let's hop it up to our feet. Let's talk about what we have going on today. So we have a nice little 40-20 circuit. We've got five stations, technically 4 movements. One is split left and right sides. We'll go through each one individually, and then we'll move to the next. So we'll kind of do a practice round here to start. First movement, we'll get our weight. It's going to be down on the ground. We're in that same position that we just were, that primal position. It's going to be what we call a primal pull through. All right. Sometimes we do it with a plank position. But what's it going to look like? We're going to get down on hands and knees. So you can go ahead and join me down there. Those hands are going to be underneath those shoulders. Again, knees are starting out underneath our hips. We're going to tuck those toes, lift those knees up off the ground. So we're in this nice, good, strong primal hold. All right. Remember that core is pulled in tight, hips are tucked under. So we're going to reach across our body here. So my right hand is reaching to my left. Grab that weight. I'm going to pull that weight across. Coming back to that centered position. Now that weight's on the other side. Reach through with that other hand and pull across. What we're looking for here is for stability in those shoulders, stability in those hips. The farther you push that weight away from you, all right, the more we have to reach for it, more stability we're going to encounter. We only got about 10 more seconds here. Pulling strong here. Try and keep those hips as level as possible. The last one. And relax. All right. As little hip shifting as possible on that one, as well as those shoulders. Want to stay as square to the ground as we can. All right. Second movement is going to be a clean with a rotational press. So whether you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, not going to matter here. We're going to go from the ground each time. So it's going to be a little bit more explosive, a little bigger movement. So what it's going to look like, that weight is going to start on the ground right in between our 2 feet. Whichever side you're starting with, we're pulling that weight up to that shoulder. Okay? And we're going to press and rotate to the opposite direction. So this is my right hand. I'm going to press and rotate towards the left. So I'm finishing here again, abdomen nice and tight, hips are tucked under, all right? Back foot is pivoted, pressing arm is straight up, locked out overhead, all right? I'm gonna bring that back down to the shoulder, we'll bring that back down to the ground, and switch sides, okay? So let's go ahead for the rest of this 40 seconds, pulling this to the shoulder, punch and rotate. And that's coming back down to the ground. So you can separate in this into 2 pieces if you would like to. Into that clean, kind of reset, punch and rotate. Or if you want to be a little bit more explosive on that catch and punch, if that coordination is there today, certainly feel free to go that way. Depending on that weight, we may need to slow that down, or we may feel comfortable speeding that up. Either way. I'm going to go one more here, and we'll bring that back down. Let's take a quick rest. We'll move into our third movement. It's going to be a little bit of a combo. It's a bend of a row, but we're going to add a row with a twist right after it, all right? So kind of 2 movements in one. The best way to show this. We're going to get kind of in our 3-point stance. If you have a chair or something that you want to use to brace yourself, feel free to pull that over. Otherwise, we're going to be in our 3-point stance, all right? This is going to be our bottom position. So we're going to have one slow controlled row, pulling that back to our hip, extending back down. Right after that, we're going to do what I like to call a lawnmower pull. We're going to be a pull with a rotation. All right. So we're kind of opening that chest as we pull, okay? So think about strict row with rotation, okay? So we get a little bit more core involved in that second one. So first 40 seconds, we're gonna do all on one side and then break and switch to the other side, okay? So let's go for 40 seconds here. Nice and controlled. One pull, big squeeze at the top, a little bit more explosive. Pull and squeeze, explosive. So if you want to take a quick pause at the end of each, just to regain that control, that balance. Want to be as strict as possible on that first pull without that rotation. Pulling that right to that hip. Ooh, two more. Good grip strength exercise, hanging on to that weight. And we'll bring that down. We'll get a quick shake on that. We'll rotate to the other side, the same thing. So notice at that bottom of each rep, I am getting a quick pause. Just kind of take that momentum out of it, and then we'll move into that next rep. So we're on that second side, going on my left hand, my right foot is going to be forward. Bring it down, let's go ahead and get after it. One row, one row with rotation. So, talking about this a week or two ago, talking about decelerating after a rep. So this row, quick acceleration on that way up. We need to make sure that we can slow that weight down as we come back to that starting position. So I'm going to go last rep here. And relax. All right, looking good, looking good. So now we're going to move over to our final movement of the set. It's going to be a little kick through with a thrust. So we're actually going to put that weight aside for this one. This one is going to be a body weight specific movement, just a way to kind of finish up the round with a bit of cardio, a bit of body control movement, okay? So that primal position that we've been kind of working with, that's going to be where we start. So we're going to get down on all fours. We're going to tuck those toes up underneath, lift those knees up. So in that primal position, we're going to take that right leg, we're going to pivot those hips, kick that right leg through to the left side. We're going to pull that back to that base. We're going to go to that other side, good strong kick through. Come back to that base. In this base position, we're going to hop those feet to our hands, and we're going to get a hop or a stand at the top. So it's a little half of a burpee. I know I'm not supposed to use that word, but that's what that end part is. So we're just going to hop back down into that primal position, and we're going to kick through, base, kick through, base, hopping up and up. All right, we're going to go try two more here. This is going to be, again, as slow or as fast as you're comfortable. Just a chance to move that body in a few different planes, testing a little bit different movement, just having a little bit of fun with it. All right, we'll take a quick breath, we'll reset, and we're going to go back to the top. We're going to finish strong. We're going to try to squeeze in two more rounds here. It's going to be right at 10 minutes, so we should be in good shape. All right, you know all the movements. Let's get down. Let's go for starting with that pull through in that all fours position. Let's do it. Pulling that weight right across that chest. Challenge you to not just slide that weight across, but do give me a little bit of a lift as we pull. Just engage a little bit more of that back, a little bit more of that grip strength. all that stuff working here. Remember to keep stability in those hips, in those shoulders. Don't let that weight get too far away from you. So we're still able to control it. Yeah, about 10 seconds. You can feel that weight shift in those feet. Last two. 1 and rest. And you can feel that weight really shift in the feet and in those arms. We're going to try to conquer that as we go. All right. And drop down. Get ready for that rotational press. Get up. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're alternating sides on this. Weight comes all the way back down to the ground each time. Remember those hips on that clean. Throwing those hips through help drive that weight up. Going back to that shoulder, nice and controlled. Keeping that back nice and protected. Good, good. We got the last 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, quick little break. We're gonna go back to that one more row. So 1 row, 1 lawnmower pull. Be nice and strong. All right, let's get up, get ready. Show you that rotation a little bit more this way. Let's do it. 1 pull. 1 pull with rotation. Remember to really keep that chest looking down. I like to look at the laces of my shoe. Make sure those are in sight every time I reset for a rep. Getting that full body rotating each time we get into that pull. Look good. We've got the last one. And we'll take a quick break. Okay. Quick note on that one. Our feet are going to stay more or less in line. That back foot's going to want to rotate, maybe even that front foot, but I want you to try to resist that. We're going to keep those hips relatively square, just kind of rotating across the shoulders. Let's go and switch arms, switch legs. Let's go for it. Second side, row. Big pull with rotation. Also, depending on that weight that we have, that coming back to center, realigning that balance may be a bit of a challenge. Getting that whole body involved. Focus on pulling with that back. So make sure we're not pulling to that armpit, we're rather pulling to that hip. We're going to go last rep here. And bring it down. All right. Get that out of the way. We're going to go to our kick throughs with that little bit of jump thrust. Take a breath. Get ready. Try to get full extension on that kick through when that leg comes out. Really extend through that leg. In 2, 1, go. Big kick through. Square up to that other side. Up and hop. All right, so staying nice and light on those toes. Lots of different directions we're moving through on these kick through with a nice little squat thruster. Big pull. Getting that whole body engaged. Don't forget about those arms on that kick through. We got a last one right here. Up and rest. All right. And go back to the top. We just got 1 round left, folks. 5 more minutes. Give it your best. Give it your all. Get out there, kick butt, get down and get ready. And 3, 2, one, and back to those primal pull throughs. Remember, shoulder stability, really pushing down into the ground on that arm, on those 2 feet, keeping those hips as squared as we can to the ground. Make sure that hand stays underneath that shoulder. Sometimes that hand gets a little far out in front, so make sure that stays nice and squared up under. We've got last 3, 2, 1, pull and relax. All right, hop it up. Quick breath. Get going on that clean to rotational press. We're looking good thus far. Get up and 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Last time on these press. So really check that shoulder. Get that rotation. A lot of sneaky core work in today. With that balance, with that rotation. Make sure that we're keeping squared and center. We've got the last 2, 1. Finish this last side and relax. All right. So I'll give a quick shake and break. We're going to move to that bent over row. We've got 1 on each side. We've just got 3 movements left. All right. We'll get up, we'll get ready. And 3, 2, 1, go. 1 pull, slow and controlled. 1 pull, a little bit more explosive. Focus on really keeping that chest down. Use that front foot as that support. So that weight is going to be really kind of next to that foot or next to that knee. All right, if we're too far forward, all right, or if we're way too far back, or maybe a little bit too upright, make sure we keep that hinge. Last rep here. And go ahead and let that relax. We're going to move over to that second side. Second to last movement. Looking good on time. Get ready. Now, 5 seconds. Finish strong here, folks. Remember, pull back to that hip, not that armpit. Hip. All right, 2, 1, let's do it. 1 strong pull. 1 explosive pull. Think about activating that shoulder blade. That's going to be that initiating, driving force. Keeping that breath in a rhythm as well. A little off balance. Ooh, come on. Last one. All right. Good one to finish on. So we'll put that aside. We've got 1 final movement left. It's going to be our kick throughs. So 1 kick through each side. Standing up on that thrust to finish up. All right, 40 seconds of work. Let's get down. Let's get ready. And 3, 2, 1, go. So think about this as more of that kind of active play. All right, we did all the heavy lifting. Now it's time to just have a little bit of fun. Move that body in a little bit of a different, a little bit of a unique way. Staying strong, still hitting those pillars of movement. Right, good strong shoulders, still getting that hip hinge in there as well. Kind of piecing them all together. We've got 5 seconds left. I'm gonna try to squeeze in 1 last one. And last 2, 1, and time. And there we have it. All right, hope you got a great workout this evening. Force and equipped. Coach Matt We'll be back in a couple minutes with some strength flow if you want to hang around and mobilize. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening. Get yourself something to drink. Get a nice, healthy dinner. And we'll see you back next time. Take care.